Your life is actually good, like really good. You have overcome things that were meant to break you, things that should have broken you. You have built something. You have people who love you, a roof over your head, maybe a career, a ministry, a community. And if somebody else looked at your life from the outside, they would want it, right? They would trade with you in a heartbeat. And I get that. But for you, there's something in you, quiet, persistent, unshakable, that keeps saying, this is not it. There is more. And it's not because you're ungrateful. It's not because you are chasing something selfish, but it's because God showed you something. He gave you a dream. And as good as this is, and it is good, it is good. You still know deep down, this ain't it. Not yet, anyway. And if that's you, I want you to stay right here because this episode is for you. Welcome to Bible Study for Women, a She Knows the Word podcast hosted by me, Courage Molina. I'm a Bible literacy advocate, a certified biblical life coach, and a seminary student. This podcast exists to help you understand Scripture clearly, consistently, and in a way where you can apply it to your actual life. If you want to read the Bible, but sometimes you feel confused, overwhelmed, bored, or unsure how to apply what you're reading, you are not alone. You are in the right place. Let's get into it. I don't know why I get so excited every time I show up for the podcast, guys. We have not missed a week. Even with everything that I have had going on, I'm finally back in Charlotte. But baby, we have not missed a week. And I bless God for that. I bless God for consistency and for encouragement. Thank you for all of you who let me know that you're listening every week. Because sometimes I'm like, these people, it's all right if I miss, but no, y'all let me know that y'all are listening. And so I appreciate that. We are definitely on this journey together. So if this is your first time, welcome. For the rest of you, welcome back. So excited. This is the place where we are going to be in our Bible. We're going to do the work and we're going to let the word of God do only what it can do in our lives. Okay. And so, yeah, so let's get into it. We are continuing in our Bible reading plan, the She Knows the Word Bible reading plan. And today we are in Genesis chapters 41 through 45. We are deep in the life of Joseph. Okay. So if you didn't watch the previous one, you can go back and watch. Anyway, today is the chapter where everything starts to come together. But before we get to the reveal, I need for us to sit in the middle for just a little bit, right? Because honestly, that is where a lot of us are right now. Yeah. So let's get into it. All right. So Joseph receives a God-given dream at age, he's about 17 when he gets this dream, right? God shows him something about his future, his family, his purpose. And the dream is very clear. And he has this dream twice. It's a very specific dream. And then life happens in a way that he probably did not see coming. He is betrayed by his own brothers. They throw him in a pit. He was sold into slavery. Then, he was sold into slavery and he was went into Potiphar's house. Then he was set up by Potiphar's wife. He went to jail, and then the people he helped in jail, they forgot about him. Which is just that's it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so this is about 13 years, people. Okay. 13 years. I just want you to think about that timeline. I know we never want to hear that it's going to take 13 years, let alone, more years than that. Like, I totally get that because I'm with you. I'll be like, dang, 13 years. And then you start counting. How many years have I been here? How many years do I have left? We don't want it to take that long, but I just want you to, I just want to show you what the text says, 13 years, my friends. Okay. 13 years of circumstances that did not look anything like the dream. They actually look like the dream was going in the wrong direction. Like my life is going in the opposite direction of this dream that God gave me, right? And here's what I need you to see before we get any further. Through every single season, I know 13 years is a long time, but through every single season, God's favor was with him, okay? Not when things got better, not once he proved himself, through all of it. Okay. In Potiphar's house, he had favor. In prison, he had favor. The presence and the blessing of God did not leave him just because his circumstances were hard. They were like God and his favor was still with Joseph. And that really matters for where we're going. I don't know what you got going on right now, what season you might be in. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to remind you that God is with you in it. He's with you even now. Right now, the Lord is with you. I know it might be tough. I know you might have been here for a long time, but the Lord is still with you right now. Okay. And so fast forward. So now Joseph is about 30 years old when everything starts to shift, right? So he starts off with his dream when he's 17. And then, 13 years later, that's when everything starts to shift. So he's about 30. And Pharaoh has this dream. So he's still in prison. And so Pharaoh has this dream that no one can interpret. And the cupbearer, the man who forgot Joseph, finally remembers him. He's like, oh man, a couple years ago when you had got mad and you threw me in jail, it was this dude down there and he interpreted our dream and it came out just the way he said. And so Joseph is brought out of prison. They clean him up and he's brought before the most powerful man in the known world. Okay. And he tells him his dream, and Joseph interprets the dream. Pharaoh, his mind is blown. Okay. He is so stunned. He is so convinced that the Spirit of God is in this man that he doesn't just free Joseph, he also gives him a promotion. So he doesn't just get to get out of jail free. He gets out of jail and he gets to be his second hand man. He is second in command over all of Egypt. Okay. And so Pharaoh's signet ring is put on his finger. Let me just tell you something about this signet ring. That means whatever I say, it's like Pharaoh said it. Whatever I do, it's like Pharaoh did it. Whatever I tell y'all to do, however I tell y'all to do it, because I have this signet ring, you are going to respond to me. I'm the one who just got out of prison, but you are going to respond to me like it is Pharaoh himself. And the consequences of not listening to me, not doing like I say, is going to be the same exact consequences that you would get if I were Pharaoh himself. That's big. That is not just a small little promotion. All right. He's not just Pharaoh's assistant. We talking top dog out here. Okay. They put this very fine linen on his back. They give him a gold chain around his neck. He get a new name, he get a wife, he get kids. And so by the time Joseph is 30, he is managing the food supply for an entire nation. He is doing more than surviving, right? I would say, by all intents and purposes, he is thriving. He is respected. He has authority, provision, and he has influence. And he now has a family of his own. Like he was ripped away from his family, or his family tossed him out, whatever, however you see what his brothers did to him. But now he has a family of his own. And his sons are named Manasseh, which means God has made me forget my suffering. And the other son's name is Ephraim, which means God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. So even though it's not maybe how he thought it would go, he can still recognize the hand of God in where he is, right? So he could have been like, oh yeah, but these not my people. Oh yeah, but whatever. No, 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 Henny. He recognizes that God is with him. And you can see that by the way that he names his children. And so Joseph, as you can see, is naming his children after what God has done for him. He is genuinely grateful. He's not just making the best of it. He's not just going along to get along. He is not bitter and trying to hide it. He is not stuck. He is living well. And if anyone looked at Joseph's life from the outside, they would say, like, what more could he possibly want? Like, this is good right here. But here's the thing. Joseph is elevated, but he has not yet been restored. Okay. The dream that God gave him at 17 has not fully come to pass. He does not have possession of this thing yet. His family is still out there, which he can't be sure of. His father doesn't know if he's alive or dead. And so, this complete picture that God showed him, he still hasn't received it. It still hasn't come to pass. That means it's still ahead. And I just want us to pause right here because this is the part that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. Joseph is not struggling. He's not on the struggle bus. The struggle is not real. Okay. Joseph is not in the pit anymore. Joseph is no longer in the prison. He has overcome a lot of things that could have broken him, things that could have made him to give up, things that could have had a negative impact on his faith. He's overcome a lot of these things. And Joseph is now winning. He's actually winning. This is not this is not what do you a consolation prize. This is not a consolation prize. He is winning by every measure the world has. He has money, he has power, he has influence, he has family, he has children, and in that time he had sons, and sons were like, that's what you wanted. Those were going to be your heirs. So he is winning, winning, winning. Okay, wins on top of wins. But as great as that looks, and it does look really great, the fullness of what God had promised him has not yet arrived. I'm gonna say that again. His life is so good right now. Do you hear? Like, people say this all the time. Oh, I can't complain. He really can't complain because what more does he want? And he's in the country that is going to definitely get through the famine. So there's going to be a recession, there's going to be a severe famine, and he is top dog in Egypt. Him and his family are definitely not going to go hungry. Okay, so this is, I mean, this is up. My boy is definitely up. Okay, I just want you to think about that for a second, that he is definitely up. All right. And I want us to see here because we are very well meaning, but I just want to say this. Sometimes, you know, people see what we got going on and they think that we should be happy. So right now, somebody is listening to this and, you have a life that looks a lot like Joseph's at 30. You have come through your pit years. You have come through the betrayal, the false accusations, maybe a season of depression and anxiety, the seasons where you felt forgotten and overlooked. You came through it. And more than you just coming through it, you are now on the other side. And you did not come out bitter, you came out better. Things are actually good, genuinely good. Not this good where you just have to be happy with what you got. Like, oh, I know I should be grateful, but I'm still struggling. No, 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 no. Things are genuinely good, better than they were before and better than a lot of people have it. And so somebody in your life, maybe even it's in your own mind, or maybe it's somebody that loves you, keeps saying, what more do you want? Right? They just want you to be happy with where you are. Look at how far you've come. And they're not really trying to play you because truth be told, like your life do look good and your life is good. It doesn't just look good, it is good. I want you to get that. This is not just a life that looks good. It is actually good. Okay. And so people on the outside might have this attitude or just have this mindset towards you. Be careful for be grateful about what you have. Don't fall into the trap of complaining, right? It's not that bad. A lot of people would love to have your life or your marriage or your family. A lot of people would love to be at your weight. A lot of people would love to have your finances. A lot of people would love to do what you're doing. And the truth is they not wrong. They not wrong. They not playing you to the left. They're not trying to get you to settle for something that is not good, for something that is mediocre. All of that is true. Those things are all true. And those things are all true. And God showed you something more. It's just no getting around it. Yes, this life you have is amazing, but God showed you something more. You carry a vision, a dream, a word he gave you. And this life that you have right now, this season, is as good as it, I mean, as good as it is still not the full picture, not yet. And so I need you to hear me clearly. If that is you, I need you to lean in and hear me clearly. This is not about being ungrateful. This knowing that there is more, that is not selfish ambition. This is not you being difficult. This is not you being hard to please. This is actually faith. That's the holy tension that you're in. This is actually faith. When you are holding on to what God has given you in your hand, and it is indeed a blessing that you can see and that you can appreciate, but you are still trusting Him for what He showed you in your spirit. You understand what I'm saying? There's a tension there. What I have is good, but I'm still believing God for better because it's something that He gave me. And as great as this is, this ain't the end. You are allowed to be thankful for where you are and still believe there's more. Okay. Those two things do not have to be in conflict. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. They are both true at the same time, as they say, both and. All right. I don't have to have either or, both and. Don't let anyone not your own voice, not even somebody that loves you. They are well-meaning, but still that they are their concerns and their advice is misplaced. Why? Don't you allow these people to talk you out of the God-given expectation living on the inside of you, because you did not set this expectation for yourself. You did not set this dream in motion. You did not just grab a hold to a dream. You know that the Lord gave this vision to you, and as great as your life is, it don't quite look like the Lord said. So you know he's not done, okay? In the last few chapters, chapters 42 through 45, the famine hits. The very famine that Joseph spent 7 years preparing Egypt for. Okay. They were preparing all this time, and now, the famine has hit. And who shows up in Egypt looking for grain? His brothers. These are the same men who threw him in a pit and sold him like property. By this time, Joseph is around maybe like 39 years old. I did a little quick math, but it's close. It's close. It's close. It's been some time. And in Genesis 45, when they all get together, he can no longer hold himself together. Right? He sends everybody out of the room and he weeps loudly and openly. And then he says the words, I am Joseph. Every single thing that God showed him at 17 is now standing right in front of him. I want you to imagine. I want you to just take a second and imagine all the things that God showed you. And imagine it being right there. That thing he said, it's right now. Those people coming to know Christ, you living in it, right? Like he's not, it's all the things that the Lord told him at 17, those dreams, he's now standing in the middle of that dream. The brothers who bowed to him in the dream are actually bowing before him in real life. His father is still alive. His brother Benjamin is in the room. The dream has is like actually realized, and the family is restored. And Joseph, this man who had every reason to hold a grudge. The former me loved to hold a good grudge, but your girl is on some release and forgive, not taking the bait of Satan, okay? But he had every reason for bitterness. He had every reason to hold a grudge. He looks at those same brothers who betrayed him and says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. This is not just like this little Christian cliche. This is not just like a little church saying that he's saying. That is a man. This right here, you meant it for evil, you meant it to harm me, but God intended it for good. His ability to say that, him saying that, it reveals that he is a man who can see the whole timeline clearly. Like he can actually see the whole entire journey clearly. This is a man who clearly understands that God was working in every single season, including the ones that felt like abandonment. It takes a certain level of maturity. It takes a certain level of faith and I think relationship with God to be able to look at the pain in your life and to be able to say, God did not send this to me, but he intended to use this for my good. This might, like, the Lord didn't do this to me, but he knew it would happen and he intended to do it for my good. All right. Here's the bottom line. The purposes of God happen on God's timeline, but they will happen. Yes, it took some time, right, from age 17 to age 39, but it's not going to be wasted, okay? Your character building years, that's what I call, like, oh, it was a very character building season. Your character building years, those years where it was uncomfortable, they weren't wasted. And your current season of elevation, as great as it is, it's not the final chapter. It's not the final destination. And you already know that. And the dream that God gave you, the real one, the one he put in your spirit, it has an appointed time, friend. This is good. Where you are right now, like, this is good. And there is more. I'm about to get out of here, but I really want you to get this like deep down in your soul and in your spirit, okay? Joseph's story doesn't really start at the palace, right? It begins when he's just this little kid. He ain't don't know what's going on. Don't nobody like him except for his daddy, right? And then his story really gets started in the pit. His story really begins in the pit. And there is a version of Joseph's story where he gets to Egypt, rises in Potiphar's house, gets thrown in prison, helps the cupbearer, and still gets forgotten and just stays there. And we would have never known the rest, but God was not done. It looked like the end, but God was not done. Friend, wherever you are right now, whether you are in your pit season, in your prison season, or in your palace season, wondering why the dream still hasn't fully come, I want to remind you that God is not done. If your life is good and you still feel the pull of more, recognize that that pull is not discontentment. That is just the Spirit of God reminding you that what God has started, He will finish. The dream He gave you, it wasn't a suggestion, it wasn't a recommendation, it was a promise. And He is a God who keeps His promises on His timeline, in His way, for His glory and for your good. I don't care what you got going on. Don't you dare shrink that dream. Don't shrink that dream to fit the season you're in. Don't lower your expectations because what you got going on is pretty good. Do not talk yourself out of believing just because it's taken longer than you thought. All right, that is not going to happen. Joseph waited from 17 to 39, 22 years, and every single year was a part of God's plan. And so I want to encourage you to wait on it faithfully, expectantly, with your eyes wide open, because your story is not over. This is not the end. Listen, I want to personally invite you to join the She Knows the Word podcast community. And here's what you need to know. One, it's a community of women who are committed to being a part of this Bible study every week. So they are watching the Bible study lessons, they are reading along, they're taking the time to look at the challenges. So if you haven't read Genesis 41 through 45, I encourage you to do so this week and write down some of your greatest takeaways. I digress. The reason I want to invite you to this community, one, I've sent a devotional based on, whatever it is we're studying for the week. And more importantly than anything that I offer in the community, the truth is the best part of the community are the women, right? This is a community of women who are in the same season you're in. These are women who are doing well, women who are grateful, who have overcome a lot, who have achieved a lot, and who are still holding on to a dream that hasn't fully arrived yet. Women who really get what it means to be doing well and still expecting for God to do more without feeling like they're being greedy or ungrateful. Okay. They are not going to just tell you to be happy with what you have. These are women who are going to open up the word with you and remind you of what God said. Okay. That community, this She Knows the Word podcast community, is completely free. It's for women who are serious about growing in God's word together, women who are using these lessons to grow in their faith and understanding of the word of God. And it's the kind of space where you can come in and be like, I know there's more. And somebody's going to say, me too. you know? And so if you want to join, the link is in the show notes and it's also in my bio. I want you to come and find us. We would love to have you. So I hope this has blessed you. Until next time, just keep reading, keep studying, keep trusting and depending on God. And just, keep being in the word. All right. I love you. And so till next week, later.